This hunger strike will continue until BET is taken off the air, the office is shut down, and all its top executives commit Japanese ritual suicide.
What's going on, everybody? So, listen, I'll make this quick, real simple. Listen up, Puff, Skinny. Listen up, Byron Island, and please listen up, Tyler Perry, all right? I'm gonna say this one time only. All right, you ready? Listen to me.
Listening.
This is the reason why you shouldn't, and absolutely should not buy majority stake in NBC. First of all, I did just a couple of look. Every time I see some company that's ready to take over by acquisition, always figure, I'm just telling you, always figure there's something wrong going defunct or kaplunk in that company, and that's why the majority company wants to get rid of it. So this is the reason. Not too far long ago, what happened was, I'll give you guys quick little history lessons. So I went to school for digital media so you can understand. Viacom was a company that was a production company that was started for CBS, right? Viacom somehow or another became larger, actually, than CBS, and ended up ascertaining and buying it. One of these Viacom shows, which was Direct Effects, I danced one for 2 years, so I know this intimately. Viacom was a big sensation, or whatever the case may be. They used their priority markets, which were MTV, and then later on BET, after they acquired them. Through what? Acquisition. All right, you're with me.
Mr. Sleeple, my Harvard education tells us that our goal is to take all the shitty reality shows MTV did 5 years ago and make them black. Anyone who wants to see a shitty black version of an MTV reality show, well, they'll have to come to us.
Right now, sometime along, I'm going to say maybe a year ago, because the building even I previously worked in, which was 1540 Broadway in Midtown Manhattan, that building had been acquired in some capacity, probably for leasing space out either prior to the pandemic or after the pandemic. So Viacom was still a viable company because they still had the old MTV studios, which have now been made into CBS Morning News Studios or something like that. This will show you how much these two entities, they're agent entities, MTV, BET, they're agent entities that have seen their days, seen their highlight, and there's only two choices. You either rebrand it if you're going to buy it, which is going to cost you a hell of a lot. Ask Puff, he's been running the network for the past couple of years now. It's not cheap. Shout out to him. Second thing you can do is you got to realize that you're going to take on a lot of debt, all right? That's usually why they want to hand up majority stake in these companies, because you're taking on a lot of debt. And when I say a lot of debt, BET is a dying engine. MTV is a dying engine, it's not dead. The only thing that holds them together right now is really their namesake and what they've had acquired for the past, 20, 35 years. So their reputation sells them along. But in actuality, the viewership, the demographic that watches them, they don't. They're not interested in the programming, unless most of it's like recycled old programs, old recycled shows, like, you know what I mean, the 227s, the old, whatever, you know what I mean. They love those old shows. So watch a rerun of Baby Boy.
The destruction of black people! Is this a part?
Mr. Sleeple, since BET came into existence, terrible things have happened to black people. Dropout rates, teen pregnancy, unemployment, and incarceration have skyrocketed since our debut 25 years ago.
Instead, you get into licensing. Now you got to reach out to all these entities, the ABCs, and if you're lucky, maybe you can strike a deal with Paramount, because Paramount evidently owns BET, not Viacom anymore. So you're going to be making this acquisition and this buyership from Paramount. So they might lease or work in something contractually where they're doing some leasing of the programming of these old movies and things like that towards you. 9 times out of 10, you're going to put more money into this engine and effort into this engine than what it's really fucking worth in there. That's my point here. Don't buy BET. Trust me on this. You may think it looks like great. It's like buying it's like buying a house that's beautiful from the outside, but the inside of the shell is crap. You got crap plumbing. You know what I mean? You got a couple mice here and there. Whatever. It's going to take a lot of money to clean this place up. Is it worth the investment? Nah.
The destruction of black people!
Best thing for you guys to do, all three of y'all come together like Voltron or freaking Megatron or some shit like that, whatever Transformers is. All y'all come together and put your money towards another whole brand new entity. Create something new. I think that's what Bob Johnson wanted to see. He didn't want to see people eventually come in and buy BET and take it away from him. No, I think what he wanted to see was more of y'all do this. Follow the same pattern. That doesn't mean that this particular entity had to survive out of its shelf life. This means, well, there's space to grow and build new. So that would be my suggestion to you guys. Tyler, Byron, Skinny, don't buy this. Trust me on this. If anything, I know they call them dump sales, really. That's the terminology for them. They call them dump sales. This is when a broker or when somebody has a home or they have some old stacks or whatever the case may be. This is what they do with bulk sales like this, and they offer you a majority stake. That means the majority stake is not worth much. That doesn't mean that it can't transcend and be worth more in the end. No, but what it means is it's going to take a lot of investing by you, which then may take years upon years and maybe never before you see your ROI, which is return on investment. So what I'm telling you guys is this entity ain't worth it. It's like somebody coming in right now and buying MTV. So what? Somebody coming in for nostalgia reasons because it felt so much to them and Puff with you and Tyler. I'm pretty sure it's a couple of episodes or whatever. Don't worry, we can go to Archive Records to get that. You understand? We'll never forget. But don't buy the majority of this company because you fear that a white entity is going to come in and take it over because they already have twice. Don't buy it because you think that buying it is going to resurface and regurgitate this dead entity. It's not. The people don't want to see it.
I'm going to get me some Kool-Aid.
They don't like it. And another thing too, I hate to tell you guys this, and I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear this, but a lot of companies, the only people that, let me put it this way so that way I don't sound, the only people, 2 people on this planet right now, or 3 people on this planet right now, that can legitimately put their pronoun or whatever they represent on the packaging nowadays that's acceptable for most people is either if you have woman attached to it, whether you have kids and family attached to it, or whether you have the LGBT community attached to it. Those are the only ones that are acceptable to put the highlight on whatever it is. And I'm not saying that you should be proud. I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm telling you is most of the time when you put that highlight of this is the black this, or this is the Latin this, or this is the white this, what happens is people tend to want to or not want to be attached, or have some other going premise in the back of their mind of what this is all about before they even partake in it. This is what symbolizes in 2023 all the batter and jagger that we have online nowadays. And
I'm gonna get me some Kool-Aid.
you know, the con artists and people looking to make their own pages off of somebody else's despair or whatever the case may be. You get what I mean here? Huh? You get me? So what I'm telling you guys is, don't buy BET. It's kaput. You got me? Watch this again. Watch it back. I'll say it real quick to you know the premise. It's a fledgling company. It's ran its shelf life. Nobody cares about it. Most of the people in today's demographic don't even know what BET is or what their programming was because they weren't even born. They weren't even sperms. They weren't even conceptualized as far as procreating is concerned. Two, usually when companies offer an assertion of a company, let's say why are you to try to ascertain a company? Usually what happens is they're doing it because the company is dying. It's not worth anything or whatever, which means it's going to cost you a lot of money to resuscitate this whole company. Now, you could invest the money if you want to, and I would say with any purchase or acquisition, you're going to have to invest some money. But with this particular property, the problem I have is the investment quality is not worth the actual endeavor. You understand what I mean? Meaning that most of the demographic that's going to BET, they're going there to see old programming. That's why it's always been old programming in probably the past 7 to 8 years. They specifically put that old programming in for a reason. It's because the demographic that was responding to them and responding to everything was saying, hey, this is what we want to watch. We want to watch reruns of Baby Boy. We want to rewatch reruns of OG Bobby Johnson.
This is my family now. Soon it'll be yours too.
You know, sorry, this is just what it is. And the particular reason this is because the demographic that grew up with BET, they're now in their early 50s, maybe late 40s, maybe early 40s, maybe even late 30s. So it's nostalgia for them. And that demographic is cool, but the only thing about that demographic is that demographic tends to go with their children. They tend to go with their children. And their children didn't grow up with BET. Their children grew up with Nickelodeon. Their children grew up with the Cartoon Network. Their children grew up, you follow me here? So they don't know this entity. Could you rebrand it? Could you refocus it? Could you make it something else? Should you? No. Third thing I would say about this is usually when a company is offering an acquisition and it sums up its total stake, it's for two reasons. One, the current property they have ain't worth nothing. It's usually what you see with junk sales with bonds, junk sales with houses, junk sales with cars. They do this in all of it. It ain't nothing to do with it. You know, in New York, they got a lemon law against stuff just like this. But evidently it doesn't go in acquisitions of properties because, one, the acquisition of properties, whether they be physical properties, commercial properties, or in this case, a media property, the acquisition of all these takes sometimes a year and a half. It's not a quick process. You're sitting down with lawyers, they have to come to these terms contractually and blah, blah, blah. And then 5 minutes before you out, they're like, hey, come back. What do you guys want? Hey, listen, we got a better deal for you. See what I mean? So usually when they sell these equities at so low, it's for a reason. And I'm telling you, Puff, I'm telling you, Byron Allen, I'm telling you, Tyler Perry, usually they're selling these entities because they're not worth anything. It's going to take a lot of investment to build them back up. So if you were smart, and y'all ain't the smartest bunch all the time, but y'all are some good people. I will say this. Don't buy this entity. You may not hear me right now, but I'm always right on stuff like this. A lot of people won't tell, especially you, Skitty. A lot of people will tell you things about me or whatever. Sit down and have a talk with me. You understand a lot of that stuff ain't true at all. I'll speak for myself on that one. One thing I'm known for, I'm very good at projections and trajectory. This is a bad one.
No one can stand in my way of destroying black people.
People don't forget,